Howdy ho H2Os, Roller Bros, and Jason Brodies alike. I'm your guide Q, and welcome back to r/Tales from Retail. Now, I made a little playful jab at comment awards in my last video, and I got a lot of comments about it. And I think Jason Brody brings up an awesome point. If you like a compilation style of Reddit video with a ton of posts, people like comment awards and Brainy Dude are probably the channels for you. But if you like a human with a human voice presenting these posts and giving some commentary, people like Dark Dom, Fresh, Illuminati, me, are more up your alley. So with that said, let's get into these stories. So in this video, we've got a few stories from the submissions email, qsubs@gmail.com, and a few stories from this subreddit. But this first story is actually from my girlfriend, and before you go saying like, oh, you're so biased, you're putting her story to the front of the pack, if this wasn't a banger of a story, I would have not included it. She can handle it, she's a tough cookie. I would have just told her, hey, this isn't the right thing for a video, it's kind of boring, but this is a spicy story, so let's get into it. First things first, PetSmart has a policy that clearly states that we have the right to refuse the sale of an animal if we feel the customer is unfit to care for it. At my former store I quit last month, all the pet care associates were pretty good about this. None of us had a problem with telling customers no. Well, apparently the pet care manager named Mrs. Rulebreaker sold a ball python to a woman who was obviously high as heck one night. I wasn't there, but Mrs. Rulebreaker stated that the woman reeked of weed and could barely form coherent sentences, which is why all of us pet care associates were confused and furious with her. Now, this ball python that was sold was at the store for about 2 weeks. She was a female and ate very well and did her snake thing. Very good girl, 11 out of 10. Knowing this, we were all horrified to find out the following morning the snake was dead. We knew this woman had killed the snake because no healthy snake dies within less than 24 hours for no reason. This woman called our store 3 times before my shift that evening, claiming that she hadn't killed the snake and made up 3 different stories. First, she said it died after she got home. Later, she claimed that it died while on the way home, and finally, she claimed that we sold her a dead snake. Obviously, this pissed everyone off, so we all agreed to not sell her another animal, and we put her on a do not sell list of names with her address and number. We got this information off of her animal contract paper you have to sign when buying a non-fish pet. PetSmart has a 14-day guarantee on most animals, so of course this woman comes in with her receipt and the dead snake, RIP, to exchange it for a new ball python. Of course, I was working when she came in, so I had to deal with this. I was already extremely furious. I know many just see snakes as pests and gross, but I genuinely love snakes and treat my own ball python as if he were my own little noodle child. I take a look at the snake's corpse and see that the snake's spine was literally snapped in half. The corpse smelled awful, as I could tell she didn't even bother to freeze it and just left it in a box she brought. We don't normally inspect corpses, but since this was such a rare death, I was so curious as to how she killed this poor noodle girl. This woman isn't even another human at this point. This monster then had the audacity to ask me to show her our new ball pythons for her to take a look at. I'm such a wuss, but I couldn't help but shake out of anger and was almost on the brink of tears. My voice was shaky, but I told her, sorry, but I can't let you get another snake. What you did was awful, and I refuse to sell you another. Actually, everyone here refuses to sell you one. So if you want another ball python, then you're going to have to go to Petco, because Lord knows you aren't getting one here. I know what I said wasn't professional, but oof, I was just so mad. Luckily, she didn't yell or get angry and was just quiet. She went back to the store manager at the time and then said I refused to sell her an animal. Since that manager didn't care for the animals and only wanted to make money, his words not mine, he asked why I didn't sell her another snake, and I'm like, because she killed the other snake? I'm not selling her another snake, but you can. I only said that because he was terrified of reptiles and refuses to touch them. Needless to say, this monstrous woman did not buy another snake from us. So the noodly boy that you're seeing on your screen is my girlfriend Osiris's snake Ka, and in this story, it just makes me so angry, the lack of integrity from this manager. I mean, I get that maybe pet store employees are like less passionate about animals in some cases than like somebody at an animal shelter, but if somebody kills a snake, one, selling the snake to a person that was obviously high and not in a good state of mind whatsoever was a terrible idea. Like, people refuse to give tattoos to drunk people because it's a large decision. Taking in another life is a huge decision as well, and it's just so ridiculous that this worked out the way it did, and I really hope that this woman did not get another snake from anywhere. Alright, now over to the subreddit. Mom got annoyed because I wanted to check her daughter's ID. On mobile, English not first language. This story took place while I worked my shift at a local gas station here in Germany. If you want to purchase cigarettes in Germany, you have to be at least 18 years old. Within the last few weeks, the company I work for got tested by test customers. They would purchase alcohol or cigarettes just to check if the cashier checks their ID. You could really get into trouble for not asking them for it. With this in mind, I ask everyone who looks a bit young for their ID. She told me the number of the pump to pay for gas and also ordered 2 packs of cigarettes. Me, can I see your ID? Actually, it's in my car right now. Shall I get it? That would be nice of you. Thank you. Since she was so nice, I wondered for a moment if I should just sell her the cigarettes and tell her it's okay, but now that I asked, I had to stick with it. A few moments later, this woman, W, comes to the cash register. Hi, how may I help you? Number 5, the number her daughter had not paid for yet because I paused the transaction until she came back with her ID and those 2 packs. Me, realizing that it has to be the young lady's mom. Of course, that'll be 20 euros, please. W with a very cold, annoyed tone. She pumped gas, so she is obviously 18. At this point, my eyebrows almost touched my hairline. Being confronted with this level of stupidity, my brain started to sort out which of the 100 reasons I could have for asking her daughter, who looked really young, I should give her. Me. You know, we get tested a lot at the moment. Also, I could lose my job for not asking for an ID when selling cigarettes. She then left without another word, not even a goodbye. I had a lot more to tell her, for example, that pumping gas does not mean anything. There's no law that you have to be over 18 to pump gas. Also, in Germany, you can get a driver's license at the age of 17 if a parent is your co-driver. And hey, here stands this mom, telling me her daughter must be 18 for pumping gas. I'm still shaking my head days after this. Okay, I've got a little bit to say about this post. One, she shouldn't have even sold the 2 packs of cigarettes to the mother, because there's an assumption there that since the daughter had previously wanted a pack of cigarettes, one of those packs could have been for the daughter who had not yet given her ID. And it really doesn't matter if you're in the middle of like a sting period, which we would have those at the restaurant I worked at where cops would come in and try to buy alcohol. At any time at all, you can lose your ability as a store to sell cigarettes or alcohol if you sell them to somebody that's underage, so there's no problem with asking anybody that looks under a certain age for their ID. Like, that should not be a question whatsoever. Just pull out your ID and stop complaining. Hey Q, I really like your content and hope you enjoy this story. Thanks, I'm glad you enjoy the content, and I did enjoy this story enough to put it in a video. I'm going to be changing the names of people for privacy's sake, and because of certain information, it would be pretty simple to find out this location. I worked at a bookstore and I absolutely loved it. I loved my coworkers, I met so many amazing customers, and I overall was treated very well by the company itself. With that being said, I try not to let bad experiences taint my love for my job. Also, keep in mind that I'm just a teenager, and I was just a bookseller without authority. Also, keep in mind that the bookstore is in an outlet mall kind of style, so the building is not controlled just by the book company. This story is about us ruining the experience of a gentleman and his family. I was working on the register at the time. I don't usually get assigned to the register unless I'm helping out the line. 99.9% of the time I am on the floor. I was covering a break for the cashier at the time and all was going well. A man comes up to my register and I politely greet him. Hey, is there any way you can turn up the heat? It's really cold in here. I didn't know what to say because I'd never been asked anything like that before. Thankfully, the manager on duty walked by because he was counting tills. We'll call him David. Hey, David, we can't do anything about the AC, can we? David, half speaking to me and half speaking to the man in front of me. No, we don't actually control the temperature. That's up to the outlet mall company. Oh, it's just so cold in here. It's ruining my experience. My kids can't stay in here. I'm sorry, sir, but there's really nothing we can do. This is a lie. We can control the temperature, but we can't adjust it based on a customer's request. We have to keep it in a certain temperature so that the books stay in pristine condition. Keep in mind that David is the kind of guy that thinks most questions are stupid, but he's very good at being nice to people and being respectful. His tone might have made him sound sarcastic, but this is where the man flips out. There's no need to be so rude. I'm sorry, sir, I wasn't trying to. Man walking towards the exit and his wife following, not saying anything. You just lost a customer. David lost his patience and still counting money. I'm sorry to hear that. Man goes to leave, but before he can go all the way out the door, his kid starts crying loudly. What's your name? David, have a great day. I'm going to call corporate and write a review on you. Please, have a nice day. Meanwhile, I'm just standing there as if I just watched a tennis match. The man did end up writing a review on Google, and it was the funniest thing ever. He claimed that the manager was rude to him, kicked him out, and made his child cry. It's still something we laugh about, even though I don't work there anymore. I often complain to him that it's too cold in there, and ask if we can turn the air off. I have a worst New Year's Day ever story that I may submit. Hey, I'd be interested in checking that out if you do. I can't imagine being that self-centered that I'm like, this entire bookstore needs to change the temperature so that me and my children can feel comfortable. I might just be like, hey, maybe we should just get everything we need to get quickly so that we don't have to spend too much time in here. Hey, here's a blooper. And could barely form coherent sentences, which will barely form coherent sentences. Hey, if you want to hear me barely be able to form coherent sentences live on Twitch tonight while I'm playing some Amnesia: The Dark Descent, come check that out, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a little return to streaming. It might be a little bit of a shorter stream. I apologize for that, but I'm just still getting back in the swing of things as far as streaming is concerned. Twitch.tv/yourqueue, as in the queue that belongs to you. It's going to be down in the description next to my Twitter, my Instagram, my Amazon affiliate links for all of the equipment I use. I hope you check that stuff out. Anyway, skate on to the best of your abilities, make sure you're drinking more water, and I will see you very soon. Have an absolutely beautiful day.
Barely form coherent sentences.